oh boy, have I got good news for you! Despite the influx of over 500,000 American Jewish immigrants, the American Jewish population has not grown over the past 50 years due to assimilation. And the present American Jewish birth rate is 1.89 per family, well below the necessary amount to increase the population. How do you have 1.89 children? Hold on, there's one more tidbit of joy to share. According to the UJA, Orthodox families are raising 60% of the children that make up our demographic. And the Hasidic community, which is only 7% of the entire Jewish demographic, have the same amount of children as the 80% of the Jewish demographic that don't identify themselves as Orthodox. Isn't that great? Allow me to explain. The Jewish people have always been a teeny tiny nation.
Teeny tiny.
As Hashem said, Ki atem me'at mikol ha'amim. You will be the least numerous of all the nations. But I bet you're wondering why this is good news. Hold on, it's time for
Assimilation facts for a holiday that celebrates defeating assimilation.
Did you know that jelly donuts were first mentioned in a cookbook in Germany that was printed in 1485? And were championed in the 1920s by the Israeli Labor Federation. But the origins of jelly donuts has nothing to do with Jewish history. It's a German concoction. Potato latkes, or potato pancakes, were adopted by European Jews basically because it was a European food that everyone ate. And European Jews felt, well, because it's soaked in oil, it can remind us of the miracle of the oil of Hanukkah. And the Jewish custom of giving gifts at Hanukkah is an imitation of the Christmas holiday, which basically had to do with the explosion of consumerism in the 19th century. But giving gifts on Hanukkah has nothing to do with Hanukkah, and yet we've adopted it. Another element of assimilation. So I bet you're wondering why this is all good news. If you look throughout our history, we've always gone through these patterns of assimilation, regardless of where we've been exiled to. And isn't it amazing that such a tiny nation that is so small has been such an incredible influence on the world around us? At least 187 Jews and people of half or three-quarters Jewish descent have been awarded the Nobel Prize, accounting for 22% of all the recipients ever between the years 1901 and 2012. And yet the Jewish people make up less than 1% of the world's population. To me, this is good news because it fulfills what God says about the Jewish people. We are a small nation. We always were, we are, and we always will be. And yet, despite our small numbers, we have the capacity for unbelievable greatness. The very fact that we're still around and having the influence that we do, despite the reoccurring patterns of assimilation, is as great of a miracle, in my incredibly humble opinion, as the flask of oil lasting for 8 days. That tiny amount of fuel, lasting for so long and burning so brightly, is very much like the people that sparked its flame. Anyway, what's your opinion about assimilation? How do you view the history of the Jewish people and the different countries that we've lived in? Leave your comments and opinions in the section below, and allow me to wish all of my wonderful subscribers and those that happen to stumble upon my video a happy and healthy Hanukkah. And I will see you next time, Be'ezras Hashem.